Hello, hello, Visible Entrepreneurs community. We are here. We are live. We are jumping in today. Welcome to our training. This is our Thursday training. Happens every week around this time, around 12:30 Eastern, sometimes a little earlier, sometimes a little later. But you can usually find me at the noonish hour on a Thursday. So welcome, welcome. If you are here, say hello. But because today we are talking about how to stop saying and all those other filler words, I would love it if you could say hello by dropping your favorite filler word. Drop your favorite filler word. Drop it down below in the comments. Let's share the filler word love. Let's connect with one another's filler word. What is the go-to filler word for you? And I will let you know mine. Now, I see some folks are still popping on. Let me just tag a few friends that I know wanted to come to this. All right. And then we will get started and I can let you know what else we're going to do today. I'm very excited. Very, 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 very excited. I don't know if you can sense that. I don't know if you're down for it. If you're here to party with me, I'm excited. Okay. There was my first filler word. Okay. Another little game we're going to play, you guys. Can you call me out on my filler words? Because here's the thing. Nobody is filler word free 100% of the time. Well, maybe the best voice and speaking coaches like Roger Love. Maybe he never says a filler word, but I bet we could find him saying one once in a while. I see some friends are coming on, so drop your favorite filler word. Drop your go-to filler word, the one that you hear yourself saying and you're like, oh, I said that word so many times. It's driving me crazy. I'll tell you what mine is in a moment, okay? So drop your filler words. When I see some filler words coming in, we're going to get going. So, that was my filler word. So is my filler word of choice. It's my transition word. It's when I'm going from one thought over into the next. Before I get talking about how we can stop saying the filler words, I do want to do a little introduction because I know there's a few newbies here in the community. My name is Emanuela Hall. I am a speaking and visibility coach. I help purpose-driven entrepreneurs, coaches, wannabe speakers, and creatives to speak with authority, embody their magnetic leadership, and tell their story so that they can effortlessly attract those dream clients from the stage and from the screen. So if you want to be bringing in more of your peeps, showing up more of yourself, and speaking with authority, and speaking like the leader that you are, then you're in the right place, my friend. Okay? This is the group where we do a training every week talking all about speaking, voice, visibility, video content, stories, leadership, confidence, mindset, all that fun stuff that you need to do within yourself to show up as a boss, to show up as a leader. Drop me a heck yes if you're feeling my vibes. I do have a little caveat. You may seem like I'm bringing some energy, but I am actually getting over a terrible cold that I've had for the last 3 days. So it might just be like the drugs happening, but I am feeling good because I am excited to be here. But I've had a few days of not feeling so hot. So if I seem a little bit off to you, or I'm word finding in my mind, this is my warning to you. Go easy on me, okay? Go easy on me. Are you ready? Are you ready? Drop me a heck yes if you're ready. Tell me, I'm ready. I want to stop saying my filler words. Also, I don't see any filler words in the comments. Give me your filler words. And if you're watching the replay, you know what to do. Use the hashtag replay. Why do we say filler words? Why? Where does that come from? Why can't we just say the words we need to say? Why are we umming and ahhing and liking and sewing? all over the place, sometimes more than other times. This is where I see it the most. It is not in live trainings like this because usually you've already planned your content. You already have an idea of what you're going to say. Those filler words show up the most in improvisational settings. Am I right? If you are being interviewed on a podcast, how many of you here get interviewed frequently and then listen to your podcast and cringe a little bit? Or maybe you're not even getting podcast interviews because you're too nervous to talk about it. You're too nervous that you're going to have all those filler words. How many? So it happens in podcasts, it happens in interviews, it happens on sales calls, it happens in like IGTVs with another person where it's just a regular kind of conversation, even in Q&As. Say you're doing a Q&A and somebody asks a question and you're trying to think of it, right? Because these filler words come in when we're trying to find the word. And rather than taking up the time to find the right words, we, especially women, will add words that do not need to be there. And I believe this comes from one of those speaking blocks. If you've been in this space before, you've heard me talk about speaking blocks. Our fear of being judged, which is ironic because then we judge ourselves harshly when we use the filler word. But we're using that filler word because we're too afraid to hold the silent space. That might be blowing your mind right now. We haven't been given permission, perhaps throughout our lives, to simply be and to bring value without having to push and add. Now, a lot of the things I talk about in this space and with my clients is very technically based. I love to bring my voice and speech training to the table, but all of that isn't going to work if our mindset is still living in the fear. If we still feel like we're not enough, and if silence feels scary to you, uncomfortable, that's probably why those filler words are coming up. If you have a reason, if you already know why those filler words are coming up for you and you want to drop it in the comments and share it, I think that would really be helpful for all of us who struggle. But here is the silver lining, my friends. Once you start to see that, once you start to notice, not just that you're saying them, but where they're coming from, then it's so much easier to correct it. Here's the other piece. Like I said before, there is no such thing as a perfect filler wordless speaker. Sometimes we default, even as hard as we work, right? It is a constant journey, just like everything else in life that we are working on. Your health, your spiritual development. We take 2 steps forward, 1 step back. I want you to be kind to yourself, give yourself grace, notice, and then work on correcting it. Okay, so that was a little bit about what I wanted to say about filler words. And you may have noticed I've already said so quite a few times. It can also be your transition word. Sometimes I hear a lot of us saying, so, as we move on to the next thing. Or, okay, now, we're like filling in that gap to go to the next thing. But it's okay. We can have a pause. So how do we fix it? How do we fix the filler word? Again, let me know what your favorite filler words are. They're usually all about the same thing you can do to fix them. I know we're on a bit of a delay, but I just like to hear. I just want to see what your filler words are. So all of them usually have the same root problem, right? But it's just fun to see. It's fun to see. Now, here is how we address the filler word problem. First, we breathe. If you've been in my space before, you know that I love me some diaphragmatic breathing. It's pretty much the catch-all cure for everything. Before you go on stage, and yes, your screen is your stage, before you get on that sales call, take those diaphragmatic breaths into the belly. And when you're talking, when you notice that maybe you're speeding up, maybe you're adding a lot of those ums and ahs, allow yourself to breathe. I don't think you need to worry about that person leaving the conversation. Again, this stems from our fear of taking up too much space. Just want to make sure. Can you hear me okay? Everybody can hear me? Okay, I think you can because you're still here. I just don't see any comments. So you know, there's my other so. Breathe. The next thing that goes with breathing is grounding. You may notice lately I've been doing my lives with this pink backdrop. And the reason is not because I love the pink backdrop, which I do, but I'm actually sitting on a stool. And this stool gives me a little bit of height, which allows me to have a better posture. And before I start, I get my feet flat on the ground and I make sure that I have something I can put my feet on. When we ground down into the earth, our spine lifts, our shoulders drop back. You know, very rarely you'll see me kind of doing a live like this, but when I am sitting at my desk, it's a little lower to the ground. So my hips on the stool are higher than my knees. And you may be thinking, what the heck does this have to do with filler words? It's about embodying your leadership. I said women seem to use filler words more than men. Let me know if you agree with that. It's a generalization, I know. But it all comes down to how sure we are of ourselves. So if you can take those breaths, if you can plant those feet, claim your authority, claim your space, and be direct. You'll find those filler words happening lesser and lesser. Not sure if that's proper grammar, but you know what I mean. I'm going to teach you an exercise now. You can do this with your friends. Do this with your friends and family, or you can do it on your own. I do it with my clients. I've done it on here on our live coaching sessions, so you may have seen this. You'll set a timer. You'll pick a story, any story. And you'll try to say that story for 1 minute. Your friend will have the phone or the timer, and your friend's job is to go every time they hear that filler word. It's a great way to start becoming more aware of it. And you go through that same story as many times as you can without saying, so. The story can be like, what did you do this morning? Another way to do it by yourself is practice, maybe in front of the mirror, maybe on a recording. Speaking off the cuff. Don't plan anything. And when you feel like you want to say one of those words, I encourage you to pause, breathe. And if that feels hard and scary at first to have that silence, you can even say the word pause out loud. It's like triggering your brain to know this is a pause. It is safe to pause. It is safe to be silent. I am still worthy. Another great tip, if you feel those ums and ahs and you need some time to think of the words, take your little sip of water. I'm thinking, I'm not saying Here's what I want to say. How do you like these tips? How do you like them? Oh, here's Cassandra. I have a yes. Woohoo! Fumbling over the words. I do so all the time. Now all the comments are coming in. They're all zooming in here. Okay, I'm glad people are here. Feed is going in and out for me. Ooh. Is the feed going in and out for anybody else? Okay. Sorry, everyone. I'm only seeing the comments now, so maybe it is on my end. Sometimes that's been happening lately on the Facebook. All right. Fumbling over the words is similar to filler words, right, Cassandra? It's trying to find the words. It's when we're trying to find the words, but we're so worried about being still. Please, somebody right now, ask me a question in the comments. I'm going to show you. I'm going to do a little schmacting for you. I'm going to show you what I mean. Okay, Cassandra said it's good on your... So ask me a question, any question. It can be like about my favorite food, whatever you want, something that's going to throw me off. And let's see if I can do it with and without the filler words. If nobody asks a question, I'll make one up. See, there's the cold remnants. Dawn, I'm so glad you're here. Thank you, Angela. I don't see any questions, but I know the Facebook is on a delay. Oh, how did you meet your husband? Okay, I'm gonna do a short version of this, and I'll do it twice. One with the ums and ahs, and then one without, just to show you what you can do instead. So my husband and I met one night after the bar. I was with my girlfriend, and we were walking down the street, and he was at another bar on the patio with a friend who went to high school with me. So he was like calling my name because he remembered me. So I went over and started talking to him. And so then we walked home together, and we didn't walk home, but we were walking down the street, and my friend was talking to the guy that I knew, and I was talking to my husband, but at the time, I wasn't thinking much of it. And turns out his brother and I were in the same class, the same grade, but he was a couple years older, didn't even know he was there. Now, I've told this story a few times, so I'm not, there's not as many ums and ahs. I'm going to stop it there. Now I'm going to say it slowing down without as many so's. How did I meet my husband? Well, my girlfriend and I were out at the bar one night, and I was having kind of a bad night. This was when I was 24. And I remember walking down the street with her, and I heard somebody calling my name. I turned, and I saw it was one of my friends from high school. We weren't close friends, but an acquaintance. And he was with this other guy who turned out to be my husband now. And so we started chatting, and we walked down the street together. I think what happened next was, oh yeah, we went to get a burrito. We had a late night burrito at the burrito place. And I never thought I would talk to him. I thought it was just a random night. And the next morning, he asked me to go for breakfast. And the rest is history. Put me on the spot there, Cassandra. Now, what I wanted to convey is I added pauses and I leaned in. When you add a pause and you lean in, it actually invites your audience to lean in too. And they kind of sit on the edge of their seat. And it has a little bit more of that anticipation, that excitement for what are you going to say next. It's like the crescendo in a song. You all know I'm a musical theater lover, right? When you get to that like climax of the song, that high note that holds and holds and holds and holds and holds. Like the actor, the singer cannot express themselves anymore, so they're just holding this note. There's something really powerful about that dead space. It's not about the words all the time. It's about the spaces between the words. The energy that we bring between the words, behind the words. And it comes from that deep inner sense of feeling safe. This takes a while to cultivate. And I'm not saying we have to speak slowly and pause every 5 seconds. You'll notice there are times where I'm very energetic. Depends on my cycle, depends on the mood, depends on the moon. And there's times when I'm a little more chill. And it's funny, people will comment and say, "Are you okay? What's wrong with you?" Sometimes I'm just not as zesty. I hope that this has been helpful. If you have any other questions about filler words, I want you all to practice that exercise with the timer. Also, I have an on-camera checklist. Most of you already have it, but if you don't have your on-camera checklist, drop checklist in the comments and I will DM you. I'll get your email and I'll send it to you because it's really, really helpful with planning out your videos, kind of planning your space, getting yourself prepared. And also, one last thing before we go, it is not too late to register for the Find Your Story workshop happening tonight. This is not just about finding your signature story. It's about developing it and practicing saying it. It's not going to be 100% done in one workshop, but you're going to have some ideas, you're going to have an outline, and you're going to start to own that story and see how you can use this method over and over and over again to create new stories, to use different stories from your life in your marketing in the way that you connect with your audience, because stories are really the best way to connect with your audience, to draw them in. Just like Cassandra noticed for us. Thank you so much for being here. I'm very, very, very grateful for all of you. I hope that has been helpful. I thank Lauren, who is new to this group, who asked this question, and I thought to myself, wow, I have not done a training on filler words. I've talked about it in my IG, I've talked about it with clients, but I haven't done a formal training here in the group. So now it is there for all of you to see, to share, tell your friends about it. If you're hanging out with your friends and you start talking about filler words, you can send them my way. All right, friends, that's it for today. Again, sign up for the Find Your Story. If you want the link, drop story in the comments. If you want your checklist, drop checklist in the comments, and that's all you have to do. Until next time, have a wonderful Thursday. Bye.